So then after this, we go backstage. Gene Okerlund's with the Colossal Connection, though he calls them the Colostomy Connection. Very nice there, Gene. It almost goes past Heenan because he says it so quickly and then almost goes, hang on, wait a minute, what did you just say? He says that Demolition are going to be eliminated in their match later on.
Amazing.
Then we get Sean Mooney with Demolition. Axe says that he can cut the biggest oak tree down, even 7 foot tall. Says just before he does that, he'll shout, "Timber!" Mooney says that this is starting to sound like a demolition derby. Smash says that the only thing that will be left will be the metal for them to forge into new title belts. Disappointingly, there were no new title belts made after this match.
And must have damaged their vocal cords with their style of speaking as well.
I can tell Matt's really shaking his head. He's not happy with this. Doesn't like Demolition.
I really don't. They're just really goofy. Just not for me.
So that match is next. It's the Colossal Connection versus Demolition for the tag team titles. It goes for 9.5 minutes. It ends when Andre holds Smash for Haku, but Haku goes for his thrust kick and hits Andre accidentally. Andre then gets tied up in the ropes. Demolition get hold of Haku, hit their finisher, and they win the tag titles. After the match, Heenan is angry with Andre and starts shouting at him. He then slaps him. And Andre gets Heenan by the collar and then gives him a good slap himself. Kicks him out of the ring. Haku then goes for a thrust kick on Andre, but Andre catches him and beats him up and kicks him out of the ring as well. This basically cements his babyface turn, as he is pretty much now not really able to do anything. So they've decided we've got to get him out of the ring, but do so in the right terms, which is to make him a babyface again. Stephen, what did you make of this whole thing?
I thought it was weird that Andre and Haku were in the ring for the announcements. And also what is weird is the Demolition story arc in WWF is really strange because they were massively over as babyfaces, I thought. Got huge reactions here. Then they turned prior to SummerSlam, and I'm guessing that they knew that Axe was kind of on the way out and they were going to bring Crush in. But it is strange. It is strange that they decided to move away from Demolition and onto the... Well, I'm happy they moved on to Bret Hart. I thought this was watchable. Crowd reacted big to everything, and the babyface turn at the end was really good. You could hear Heenan shouting, "I'm the boss," at Andre before Andre turned. The only thing that was a bit iffy was, I'm sure Andre was trying to protect him, but the first 2 slaps missed by about a foot, which was a bit embarrassing. In terms of Andre, at least he got a really good send-off here, but I'm sure this was a horrendous moment for him. In terms of wrestling books, go and read the Pat LaPrade and Bertrand Herbert, might be Herbert if it's from Montreal, biography on Andre, because it's one of the best wrestling books I've ever read. While this was Andre's last WWF pay-per-view match, he had 105 matches in his career after this. Most of those were in All Japan, but he did try a brief comeback in the WWF in 1991. I actually found out the other day that he was supposed to be in the 91 Royal Rumble, but he was announced for it and then had to pull out. But 105 matches after this. I think pretty much all of them were multi-man tags. I think there was a singles match with someone in there. But yeah, it's a pretty scary thought and very sad that, he's only around for another less than 3 years at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, the fact that he had 100, you shouldn't have had one match after this, because if anything, for me, that was probably the most noticeable thing in this, is that, Haku was pretty much doing the majority of the work for their team. I just thought it was really sad, and at one point, Andre hit some form of kick on Smash, and it was pathetically bad. Okay, he's a big guy, so he's probably trying to pull her a little bit as well, but it just looked awful. It felt like I said, it felt like a handicap match to me, because Andre could barely get in there. Is being tied in the ropes. I mean, it's got to a point where I think I've seen enough matches of his now to know the certain spots that he does, and the being tied in the ropes thing, for me, it just feels like I've seen it one too many times now, and it's like, how can you keep sort of falling for that type thing? So no, the crowd were definitely for Demolition, and they were definitely well behind them, and they were all for the tag title win, so that was cool. So it was great to see the crowd get involved, and it was good to see Andre sort of get his revenge on Bobby post match, so that was cool. But yeah, this match was a bit not for me, to be honest, but a bit too long. Big guys quite plodding, not the best.
It was all right. It was fine, and that was mainly because Andre didn't really get involved in the match. Haku carried the whole thing for his team. Demolition was super over. So when I think it's Smash makes the hot tag, it is a humongous pop when he comes in. And Stephen, you talked about a minute ago. I don't understand why they then decided to make them heels. They obviously wanted the belts to go back over to the Hart Foundation and decided that the only way to do it was to have Demolition drop it to them as heels, but I don't really know why, because they were super over. And I remember reading about the reason why Axe stopped kind of wrestling so often. It was something to do with shellfish. So he had an allergic reaction to shellfish or something, and he had a heart problem as a consequence, and so couldn't wrestle as often. And then they brought in Crush, and then they had it falling out. Axe and WWF had a falling out to the point where Axe and Smash, despite what you think of them, Matt, should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame and are not. And I think maybe because of that, might be interesting to see if they get their day in the sun now that Vince is out of the picture. Who knows?
Yeah.